Does it show?
Yes, now it's working. Perfect.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Awesome. All right, cool. Hold on, wait. One more, take one more picture. Because now I can see everybody's faces. Everyone say, bosses!
Bosses!
That was a little delayed. No. Anyway, guys, hello. We are so excited to have you here. I just need to change my screen settings. There we go. I don't know why it's showing like that. Sorry. It's like not. Anyway, all right, we'll get started. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining on Accelerated Leadership. We are so excited. Colleen, Ashley, and myself are so excited to have put together this program for you guys. And I know that we kind of briefly touched about it on the live videos on the group page that we have. But the reason why we put this group together is because we, as, your directors, your leaders, ourselves have, have had specific conversations with you guys at one point or another, and we know the path that you want to grow within this business. The three of us, as if you didn't get a chance to watch our stories below, like we're on the page, if you didn't get a chance to watch our stories on the group page, we all pretty much grew pretty quickly with Scentsy, and we don't always have all the answers, but we do know what we know. And what we know is dedication, hard work, and consistency are really what is going to, and passion, of course, is what's going to keep you going in your business, especially through tough times. So, we've had conversations with you guys about what you want out of this business. And so we decided to put together this program to help you achieve that, okay? Most of you are probably up-and-coming directors this, I would say, fall-winter season. And you know what? The ultimate goal of this program, of course, it would be to help you get there, but this is more of a leadership development course. We don't want you guys coming into this and being like, okay, if I don't hit director by the end of this, then all is lost. That's not what this is about. It's about helping you grow and establish your leadership skills, which will then help you be more of an efficient leader to your team and an all-around business owner, okay? So we have a 12-week program that we put together for you. It's 6 weeks before the holiday. We're going to be taking, I think it's like a 2 or 3 week break right around Christmas. I think it's 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. And then we're going to pick back up in the middle of January, like right after the holidays. We'll be doing another 6 weeks because if on the chance, that you, or not even on the chance, when you promote to director, a lot of times what happens is people promote to director in the heavier seasons like the fall, and so it then becomes hard to maintain your numbers, and especially if your growth is not there and stuff like that. And so we want to be able to make sure we are guiding you after that happens, or at least setting you up so that when it happens, it's an easy transition and your team looks to you for guidance and they look to you for leadership. If you do not start instilling these leadership skills now, it is going to be much harder to make that transition once you become director. And I'll tell you guys, like when I think I was a lead consultant, I had 3 people on my team. And from that moment on, I literally acted like a director. I made a team page. I sent like emails. I tried to organize team meetings. Like I thought who I was when I was a lead consultant. But that is very important, because my team from the very beginning has always kind of viewed me in that light. So you want to make sure you are setting up that presence to your team, look to you for guidance. That's what leadership is all about, okay? So today, we really enjoyed hearing the stories that you all had today, your live videos. They were all amazing. And I love the fact that we got to hear from you because it's really going to help us be better leaders to you and better assist you through this program if we know what you want out of this. And of course, like each of us have had, single conversations alone, but hearing it all together, like I even said earlier today on my video, like I already feel so much more connected to, the few of you who actually went on and did a live video because it's going to connect you in that way. And so we want to be able to kind of pull you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but also show you that it's, things like that are going to be worth it. And it's a way to connect with other consultants in the group, that's okay. I know that a few of you were talking about time management, growing as a leader, feeling inadequate. I want you guys to know that those are all things that all of us have struggled with, myself, Ashley, and Colleen, and probably every other director or, leader position in Scentsy at one time or another. You never feel like there's never enough time. So get that out of your head right now, that you're never going to have enough time. There's always going to be something that's going to come up. There's always going to be a priority that's going to take precedence. There's always going to be like craziness. Like this past week, my daughter had I don't need to go into the whole thing, but she had a large hematoma on the bottom of her foot. And so this whole entire week, I was not able to work my business. But here and there, I actually had her I wasn't doing it here, I shouldn't say that, but like in between doctor's appointments and being home with her and like kind of being at her beck and call, I would like follow up with my customers with a quick text message. So like I was doing things in between, okay? Obviously family life, personal life, all that stuff comes first. So it's just a matter of prioritizing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I know that I heard a few of you talk about, the time that you are going to be able to invest into your Scentsy business, okay? No matter what, your business should be a priority and your business is a sacrifice. But if you know how to prioritize, it's going to be a lot easier. And we're going to get into all this in the program. Okay. Everything that you put into this business is what you were going to get out of it. So your investment into this program is crucial. Okay. This is a very intimate group. Like I said, it's not a group that we open to all-star consultants. You guys are hand selected here because we know that you have the potential. So your investment, like I said, into this program is crucial. And you are really only going to be hurting yourself if you do not invest in the calls, if you do not invest in the challenges, in the group page that we put up. Like these are all things that we know are going to help you. Okay. The calls will start obviously 9 o'clock. We'll do our best to not like drag past an hour at most, I'd say. But just being present really overall, because your team is watching you, regardless if they know if you're on this call or not. If you continually every day, have them see that you're invested into your business, that's when it's going to click for them. That's what that you're going to then become an inspiration to them when they see how heavily invested you are into your business, because they need somebody to go to. Don't forget, not everybody is a self-starter, and a lot of people need guidance and direction. So you need to be that person for them to be able to look to for guidance. So it's all about finding out what's the best way that's going to happen. Okay. And so I'm going to get into a couple things real quick about how, you can sort of create that vision for them, that guidance for them. What we called this call was leading from the front, because that is probably one of the most important things when it comes to leadership is leading from the front. Meaning you are like, whatever you are doing, you need to be walking the walk and talking the talk. You cannot talk to your team about booking parties and recruiting if you're not booking parties and recruiting. It's all about setting the example. What kind of example are you setting for your team if you're not showing them these things, if they don't see you actively doing this? And not just on Facebook. Of course, that's a huge factor because everybody's on Facebook. But I mean, getting together with them every now and then, checking in with your front line, maybe scheduling some coaching calls, having team meetings. And I know that maybe some of these things you're doing already and maybe you haven't done it all, but through this program, we're going to kind of talk about, teach you guys how to get on the right track to develop your own leadership style. Okay. So the most, when it comes to leading from the front, what that means is your business comes first, no matter what. So if you are pressed for time, that doesn't mean go and post on your team page. It doesn't mean set up a call with another consultant if you haven't even set up your own calendar yet. Your business needs to come first. In order to have a successful, thriving business, you need to be working your business first. Okay, so you need to be booking parties. You need to be recruiting. You need to be following up. And I want to preface this all saying, by this program is not a program to teach you about recruiting, booking parties, or following up. There are plenty of trainings out there that you can find that are going to teach you all of that. This is more so to guide you on leadership status, stuff that we don't necessarily talk with our teams that much about. This is strict leadership stuff. So if you are struggling in recruiting or if you are struggling in booking parties, I suggest looking into some trainings. Scentsy has amazing trainings. There's trainings all over YouTube. I'm sure you can go on your director's page and search whatever topic, recruiting, Google will be your best friend. Like, if you're struggling with that, like, really, just who's laughing? What happened?
I said
Everybody
her
else
hat
muted you
because there's a
too.
lot of background noise.
Me?
Scotty, and she muted you.
Yes, hold on. No,
Like
keep
2
going.
seconds.
But like a half a second, and I was like, oh my God, but keep
Oh,
going. I'm going to
nice.
introduce everybody but you right now.
Thanks, technical Joe
Yeah.
over here.
Sorry, we're working this out, you guys. This is our first time.
This is real life. It's okay.
Week 1, action.
All right, so I'm just going to keep going then, all right? Basically, I was just saying is make sure you're invested. If there's areas that you feel you're struggling, that doesn't have to involve much so with leadership, but more so like booking parties, recruiting, and things like that, then invest in trainings, really. I mean, I think Ashley, Colleen, and myself, like, we all taught ourselves on YouTube. That's really what it, I came into this, like, my launch party was a script that I typed up from watching the launch party or a home party presentation. And I literally typed it up on a script and I read it word for word at my launch party. That's how I taught myself. Or I Google, or I go on Pinterest. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You can't lead a horse to drink the purple Kool-Aid if you're not drinking the purple Kool-Aid yourself, if that makes sense, okay? So with that being said, working your business first, all day, every day. That should be your priority, okay? Then once you kind of have your business set, then you can kind of move on to things for your team. So for me, like, the first thing that I do when I come to work my business in the morning, like, I work from home. I know that a lot of people, have full-time jobs, and that's fine. So you have to do whatever works for you and your schedule. If it means sitting in your car on your lunch hour, texting your customers, then that's your only time to do it, then that's fine. Before I work Scentsy full-time, I also worked full-time, and then I was working part-time for a while. So I worked my business around my schedule. But now that obviously I have a schedule where I can kind of come up here, first thing I do in the morning every day is my follow-up binder. This is what I like. This literally, if you do not have a follow-up binder, this has legit changed my business. When I put the system into place and I was consistent with it and I was dedicated to it and I didn't just let it sit to the side, and I said, this is my priority. So the first thing, before I do anything else, before I post on my team page, before I whatever, scroll on Facebook or I check my workstation, but like anything that has to do with my business, my customers, booking parties, following up on orders, closing out a party that's pending, like that all comes first, because that is income producing, okay? You have to think about what is going to be the number 1 or 2 things that are literally going to make you money in this business. That is going to be booking parties. It's going to be recruiting. So you can't control how many people will join your team, but you can control how many conversations that you're having. So, having sponsoring conversations and following up. You following up with someone can make or break them joining. You following up with someone can make or break them hosting a party with you. So if you don't have a system in place to give you a reminder that you have to follow up with someone, it's going to be very difficult. And I'll tell you, the more your business grows, the larger your customer base expands, the harder it's going to be to stay on top of that. And I did not have a follow-up binder for about 1.5 years into my business. The second I started it, my business changed completely. And now every person who shops for me is pretty much my best customer, and they pretty much have become my friend. And a lot of them have already joined my team. So it all stems from this. So if you haven't seen the follow-up binder, obviously there are trainings on it, which I'm sure you can look up. I'll briefly touch on this with you guys, but this has been a game changer, okay? So, excuse me. I just have a little binder from the Scentsy Family store. But basically what I have is anything that needs to be ordered that's like pending. Like let's say someone was like, oh yeah, I want to order that, but they haven't actually ordered it. I have like I just put order forms, or I have printed copies that I made. And I basically just write their name and whatever it is that they want to order, because I'll tend to have a bunch of people who will be like, oh yeah, I want to order that, and then just never do. But if I don't follow up with them, guess what? I'm not getting that order placed. It's not up to them to come to me, right? So I have a spot for needs to be ordered. Then once they've actually ordered it, there's a spot for this. This stays here. I then move the order form over. So after they ordered, I take it, I put it here, and this stays here until it actually ships out, okay? Because this is going to track that it's in my system. I got the PRV for it, but it hasn't shipped yet. Once it ships, it'll go on my workstation. I'll move it to the pending delivery tab. So they move the order form over. And the reason how I know this is because every day when I open up my follow-up binder, I go to my orders history and I see what's pending and I see what's printed and I see what's posted. So if it shipped out, I then send them an email or a text message. Hey girl, just want to let you know I saw that your Scentsy shipped out. I'll let you know, let me know as soon as you get it, kind of thing. Just to instill that relationship with them and to let them know I'm thinking about them. After it's been delivered, there's a 1 week mark that I follow up with them just to see how they're enjoying their order. So this is if I dropped off, like today I dropped off an order to a hostess, even though I got her order in a few days ago. I move it to the 1 week and I follow up with them at 1 week. And then after that, I follow up with them at a month when I'm trying to get the party booked for them. If they don't book the party in the month, then I move into a 3 month mark. So 3 months down the line, I'll check in with them again, trying to get another party book. If they don't, I move into a 1 month re-follow up, which is technically 4 months. And then after that, if they don't book a party, I move them to 3 months to re-follow up with them, which ends up being 6 months. So it's a 6 month system, but it's mainly I'm checking in with them 1 week, 1 month, and then 3 months. And then if they've ordered, I then move their old order form here, and then I create a new order form for them. And then if they join my team, I move them here because now I have a team binder, and then all these people go in my team binder, if that makes sense, okay? So I know I kind of ran through this. I'm sure there are trainings. I know that when Kristen and Chloe were doing like the Boss Babe Basics, they had a great training on this where they weren't really into it. So if you don't have this, I would definitely look that up. Also, regardless if it's a binder or a digital system or something, it needs to be a system. There needs to be a system in place for you to be following up with people, okay? So this is crucial. And the reason why I'm saying this comes leading from the front is because this is going to be a game changer in your business. And then this is going to be something that you're going to then teach your team to do. Because follow-up is like probably the #1 thing that will help you grow your business.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So with the follow-up binder, you guys, I started using the follow-up binder. I had a crazy system in place before. Like it was outrageous, like a lot of highlighters and sticky notes, and like it made my life way harder than it needed to be because I always overcomplicate things, always. So when I started using the follow-up binder was when the Boss Babe Basics came out regarding this whole system, right? And monthly, doing follow-up, I'd be like, oh, I haven't touched base with them. Like, I got to think about this. Like, who haven't I heard from in a while? Oh, that's right. They haven't ordered from me in a while. It would be like 4 months. Like, it should not be that long. Because #1, as a leader, I mean, where we are in the game, we should be treating our business professionally, right? So giving them the utmost customer service. And that is following up with them as, a leader would, as a professional would, right? But let me just put this into perspective for you. When I was not using this follow-up binder or a legit system, I was getting maybe $50 to $100 worth of follow-up orders or following up with somebody, whoever I could think of. Now, let me tell you, this month alone, okay, I've had $800 in follow-up orders this month alone. Months where my parties have canceled, in those slower months in July, I had almost $900, and that was the only thing. I didn't have one party in July. They all canceled, and I could not. And I didn't give up. I tried to rebook them, but I had not one more. I had no parties, just follow up. $800, $900 alone. Like, it is a game changer. And I do stress that to you guys on my team, and it's only because I know and I've seen the difference, you guys, okay? And it will be a big game changer if you consistently hit that follow-up binder. I'm telling you, okay? So I just wanted to give you that as an example.
Yeah, it has to be consistent. But if it's not the follow, if it's not working for you, then you need to change it. Then you have to figure out something that does work for you. If it's you writing down on a notepad and sticking a piece of tape to your wall to remind yourself, whatever it is, but I'm talking a week, 1 month, 3 months. I think that that's a perfect time because they've had their Scentsy for a good while. You check in with them at a week or whatever to see how they're enjoying it, and then you give them time, and then you try to get a party booked, kind of thing. So the follow-up system is crucial because it's income producing. Again, if you are not doing income producing things in your business, you cannot expect your team to. you have to be talking to them about income producing things and why income producing things are so important. You know, it's so easy to get caught up on label making and samples and all the groups and stuff that you're on Facebook, when those can be more detrimental to your business than anything. If you just push all that away and just come and look at your follow-up binder in the morning, and that's all you, let's say you only had 15 minutes, or let's say you had the whole day. Right? Let's say you had the whole day. You work from home and you got, life is good and you got it made. You have the whole day, right, to do whatever you want with Scentsy. If you spend 15 to 20 minutes of follow-up, and I'll show you guys, I have a timer, a kitchen timer that I set for myself, and I do 20 minutes of follow-up in the morning. And if I do this and then I'm not able to get to anything else throughout the day, then I know for sure that at least I did my income producing things. Because even for me too, like my husband he works nights. So, you know, sometimes I am pretty fortunate where he gives me the time to come up here and work my business. But then the time comes where he has to go to work. And so I have to go down. I could sit here if I wanted to work on things for my team binder, or I could, you know, package orders really pretty or make my bar stash look all nice. And that is not making me money. That's not bringing me in things into my business. Why are you laughing? Did you mute yourself?
I did, because you said my bar stash.
Girl, I'll show you how nice my bar stash is.
I know. But you're right, guys. Even if, what she said, even if you have 10 minutes or if you have all day, what you should be getting down to is income producing activities. Even if you have all day, you guys, don't start with the samples and the labels. No, this is business. You've got to start with the IPA, right?
Yes.
Producing activities.
That first,
Always.
and then a good thing too, like especially for those of you who have your team pages and maybe your teams are a little bit larger. If you're up here, if you're wherever you are working your business, no matter what time of day it is, and you're doing income producing things, that's a perfect opportunity for you to go live on your team page and talk about, hey guys, this is my follow-up binder putting together. I followed up with 15 people today, blah, 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 you know, or even posting a picture about it and telling them like, this is how I'm working my business today. Obviously that's just Facebook, but like a follow-up system and income producing things, the things that are literally down to the nitty gritty going to be making you money, you know, once you have that in place, once you're good on that, you can then worry about start focusing and digging into your team. So I always try and get my parties booked early in the month, front loading my calendar and things like that, and then sort of digging into my team, you know, like later in the month. But anyway, I'm not going to ramble anymore because I will literally talk for an hour if I don't stop myself now. So Colleen or Ashley want to take on? I'm going to mute myself now. Somebody. Go ahead, Ashley.
I could literally talk for an hour. I could listen to you talk for an hour. She's so fun. Which this is all going to like tie together. She's talking about income producing activities are super, super important. And guys, I want you to always, we want you make sure that your business comes first before anybody else's. Okay? Because you are your business owner, not all of your team members' business owner. Okay? You're your business owner. So you need to take that seriously. And by doing those income producing activities, that's what we're saying. And if they see that you're doing those, if they see that you're following up with customers, if they see that you're recruiting new team members, if they see that you're having parties, that's how they're going to learn to do them too. Do you think your team members are going to do like a mini booking blitz if they don't have anything on their calendar, if you're not booking parties either? Do you think they're going to pick up your phone?
Can I just make one quick point? I'm so sorry to interrupt you. But just like how she says, how they're going to see you if by you getting parties on your calendar, not only are they going to see you, but it's also going to help you teach them too. Because the more parties you have on your calendar, the easier it's going to be for you to talk to your team about how you get those parties on your calendar. How could you teach them how to go get parties on their calendar if you're not getting them on yourself? You have no way to tell them. like, hey, this is what I do. I block out such and such dates. I give, my customers 3 days out of the month to choose from, like whatever your way is of getting, parties booked or recruiting. If you're not actively having those conversations, how are you even going to teach them? How are you going to say, hey girl, this is what I say to my new consultants, or this is what I say to my potential recruits? How are they going to know? So anyway, sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
But if you're not following up, if you're not booking parties, if you're not recruiting people, if they don't see that you're doing that, what's going to make them feel or think that they need to, right? Because you need to be modeling the behaviors that you want to be repeated. Okay? So you need to do the things. Anybody that's directly under me, they know that I will never ask you guys to do anything that I myself am not willing to do. And as a leader in the company, you guys need to be that same way, okay? I know that a lot of you up north just had Party with a Purpose training with Kristen and Chloe. Can I have a show of hands of anybody that's been to Party with a Purpose, whether it be at Scentsy Family Reunion here in North Carolina or up in Mass? Okay. So we know that Scentsy developed the 6 skills of the selling system, which means they were pretty clear anyway, but they developed this whole training program, right? How comfortable do you guys feel? Do you feel like you could teach that to your team? Yes, no, maybe so. The thing is, they're legit so simple. The 6 skills of the selling system. You think we are in direct sales, we're a party planning company, but what I want you guys to get out of this is not only does it just go with partying, it goes hand in hand with sponsoring as well. I'm not going to go into details of the 6 skills because this is something that if you haven't been to one already, you should have already been looking at it because there's been all kinds of trainings, okay? Train yourself. Prospecting.
Is it also on the business references?
Mm-hmm. And every new consultant has it in their consultant startup guide. Mm-hmm. And you can purchase it. I like to get them randomly from the Scentsy Family Store just so I can stay up to date. Like I came across, I was going through stuff in my house today because I'm getting rid of all the things. I found mine and I was like, oh my God, this looks ancient. And it was from 2 years. But anyway, so prospecting, booking, host coaching, presenting, follow-up, and sponsoring. 6 skills. These are all the basics. So, Kristen, Chloe, and Maggie were like gracious leaders and did the Boss Babe Basics, which is the basics. And so many times I think we try to recreate the wheel and fix things that aren't broke when in reality we need to be sticking to the basics. These 6 skills are the basics. And as a leader, your success is equivalent to mastering these skills. Okay? When you master these skills, you have a successful business. And by learning it and teaching other people to teach it is going to determine your growth. Not only for your business and your paycheck from your sales alone, but also in sponsoring and helping build the businesses of others by laying that successful foundation of teaching them the basics straight from the get-go. Prospecting, we know, is all about connections and building relationships. We know that we are in the relationship business. That's not only with our hosts, but that's with potential team members and people that are going to join our team. Presenting, I'm only going to highlight a few of them. Presenting, how do you share Scentsy, not only our products, but the opportunity, and how do you share yourself? That's really what you're selling there. That's really what we're selling here, ourselves, okay? And following up, like Patty was just talking about, you're basically maintaining relationships that are going to be your future growth, okay? Not just in sales, but with those potential team members as well. That's maintaining those relationships with your hosts, customers, potential team members for future growth. Follow up, future growth. And the sponsoring aspect of the 6 skills, that is where you're going to become a leader. How many of you said today that you're a little scared? That leadership part scares you? I get it, y'all. I get it. It's very rewarding. It's probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my entire life, but there are many a day that I'm like, what am I doing? Am I doing good enough? But I also know that I've done something right because I've gotten this far. And I don't know about you. I didn't come this far to only come this far. Yes, things happen for us 3 very, very quickly. And I know some of you today shared that you were kind of blown away at how fast things have taken off. I get it. I've been there. But it's a sign that you're doing something right. And if you just keep your eye on the prize and you stay the course and you stay committed to your personal and professional growth and you get those excuses out of your head and tell yourself, I can do this, you're going to be good. So in order to prepare yourself to become a leader, I want you guys to always know that your confidence is super important. There's a difference between being confident and being egocentric. What do I mean? You can be confident and not be a know-it-all. You can be confident and not be that person that's ish don't stink. Okay? You got that? Okay. Confidence is super important. Being humble and being able to take constructive criticism. Don't be afraid of rejection because there's a lot of it. How many times do we hear the word no? A lot. But those no's also equal those yeses. We know that. Don't be negative. Please, if you do anything, don't be negative. Don't be negative. And never, ever, 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 ever let that go down to your team. If you're ever struggling with anything, I want you to always remember to go up, to go to your up line. Never go down to your down line. Why? Because that's going to give them a bad taste in their mouth. And we never want to squash anybody's dreams just because we're having a bad day. Always be willing to learn, grow, and accept feedback. Train yourself. Okay? If you're not comfortable with these 6 skills of the selling system, I want you to get on your workstation. The Scentsy Family Consultants page on Facebook, Jason has been doing all kinds of trainings on the 6 skills, all kinds. So remember that mastery is going to equal your success. And okay, this one might hurt a little bit. This one might be a kicker in the gut, but turn off your enabling button. You're not here to become a leader, to hold everyone's hand. Okay? Yes, everybody learns differently, and that's okay. But Scentsy literally gives us everything that we need to become successful. There are many leaders that have trainings on YouTube, etc. Stuff like this, Boss Babe Basics, the recruiting boot camp. There is stuff there. Train yourself, train your team. And with that, train your team part, utilize what Scentsy gives us. Don't feel like you have to go and recreate the wheel because you don't. It's so simple. That training center is wonderful, and that's why Scentsy has it there, so we don't have to recreate that wheel, okay? We want to duplicate and create strong, independent business owners, because you want that to go down and down and down and down. You want what you're learning, what you're teaching, to continue on generation to generation, okay? As a leader, you're going to encourage people. Always lift each other up. Know the way, show the way, go the way. Just like Patty has talked about, just by learning these concepts, teaching other people to do it, lead by example. Okay? Your turn, Colleen.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted Patty to look at me. Okay, so as you guys have heard, this is all about leading from the front. And leading from the front, you guys know, it's pretty much you set the pace, you set the example, you set the bar. It all starts with you, okay? It doesn't end with you. Like what we tell you, what we give you as your upline, not just in this course, but since the day you started, since the day you had one person on your team, okay, you are now the leader. Like you set everything, okay? So think about when anybody joins your team, especially when you're sponsoring somebody, they're looking directly at you and what you're doing. If they don't see you recruiting, if you're not talking to them about how you're booking parties, or, just like Patty said, if you're not doing those things, you have no advice to offer them on booking parties, on recruiting or sponsoring, on, your follow-up system. If you're not doing those things, what kind of sound advice can you give your team? And you guys know, think about if you didn't have an upline, if you didn't have a team page, if you didn't have an involved director or sponsor or superstar director, we all have the same superstar director. Think about if none of that was here. Would we have all spiraled out of control and probably quit a long time ago? Maybe, because we all know how hard this can be, right? So everything that you do, your team is absorbing and soaking in and watching you directly what you're doing, right? If you're not getting on team calls, if you're not going to team meetings, if you're not showing up, why would they want to? They're not going to hold, it's not going to hold any importance to them because their leader is not doing it, right? If Kristen wasn't, you know what? Maybe it was a good thing that Kristen did Boss Babe Leaders and Boss Babe Basics, because then maybe it inspired me and Ashley and Patty to do our own leadership training, right? Marnie, you look like you're sitting with a ghost with that diffuser. I keep looking over. I'm like, what's going on? But isn't that true, right? Because maybe that inspired us to do that. And it may be subconsciously, but that's the kind of people we're surrounded with. We're surrounded by people that inspire us. So you've got to inspire your team, right? Think about where you would be if you didn't have a team page or involved upline. What would you be learning? Are you investing into your own self? Are you training yourself? Are you? And if you haven't thus far, that's okay. This is what we're here to tell you. Start now, okay? Investing in yourself, training yourself was the best thing that I could have ever done for my business, ever. And even if you have a super duper involved upline, whether that's your sponsor, your director, your superstar director, your team leader, if you're not a director yet, right? No matter what that is for you, you still got to train yourself, because there's things in your mind that you struggle with in your business, in your leadership, that maybe, you still have to figure out and it hasn't been fully answered for you yet, or you just need to find out what works for you. Because again, we can give you all the tools, all the advice, all the resources, right? But it may not work for you. So if it doesn't work for you, what are you going to do? Are you going to quit? No. You're going to keep going until you find out what does work for you, because there's always a resolution. Okay. But you've got to figure that out. And especially when you have a team, you've got to be the problem solver. You've got to be the problem solver, right? Because people have their eyes on you. And no, you don't have all the answers. You don't, of course not. Nobody does. But I'm like, honestly, you have to like come pretty close to it. I'm just kidding. No, you don't. Of course not. But how do you find out those answers as a director? You've got to go figure it out, right? So just know that whatever you're doing in your business, I want you to look at your team. Think about your team in your head right now. Are they mirroring what you're doing? Right? If they are, then that's awesome. Keep going. And if they're not, what can you change? Right? Are you showing them what you're doing? And if you're not, then are you working your own business? Just like Patty said, are you working your own business? Because that comes first. You cannot show them what to do if you're not. And what you're showing them has to be income producing activities. Okay? This is all about leading from the front, what you're doing, what they're watching, what they see. And it should be you showing up to your own business every single day, right? And showing them how you're doing that. Think about how are you showing them that? How are you leading from the front? How are you showing them what you're doing for income producing activities? Okay? Think about that. How do they know that you're booking parties? How do they know that you're sponsoring or having conversations? How do they know what, that you're successful with your follow-up system, whatever that may be? Are you telling them that? Are you communicating that with them? Because we can't assume that they know how to run their business. Because most people that join direct sales have no experience. There's very few people that have had some kind of hand in something, right? But for the most part, nobody knows what they're doing. That's why, again, it goes back to being really important to training yourself and learning about your business. And when new consultants join, they're looking directly at you. Like, what are you doing? Right? They're gonna mock everything that you're doing, and you're speaking to them and teaching them, which we'll get into training in another week. But you've got to be leading from the front, you guys. Okay? And it starts with you. It doesn't end with you. It's all about income producing activities. You set the tone, you set the pace. Like, if you're a snail, your team's gonna be snails. Right? And again, some people are naturally self-starters and go-getters. And if you're not, that is totally fine. I don't know what people are laughing at. I'm like, is it me? No. I'm like, what's going on? Like, do I have something? I can see everybody on my team and LaShonda laughing.
I think we laughed about the snail. That was it.
Oh, snails. Oh.
I am a snail. I'm a sloth. I'm a sloth.
Yeah, not a snail. But, so think about that, right? If I was like, if I didn't hold importance in, I don't know, I'm like, I shouldn't have even started that. But I was going to say, like, whatever I hold importance to me is what I'm communicating with my team, right? And hopefully my team gets that message, and that's what they're going to communicate with their new sponsors. So it's a trickle down effect, right? And leading from the front is going to set the pace of your entire empire, you guys, right? You guys want big, massive things out of this, because I do. My goal is to get $10,000 a month. And then when I get $10,000 a month, I'll come up with a new goal. But right now my goal is $10,000 a month. And how do I do that? It's going to be by building. I've got to build long and deep. And in order to do that, I've got to lead. I've got to be a kick-ass leader, and I've got to communicate, and I've got to set the example by running my business. I start from zero every single month. I still got to recruit and sponsor and book parties just like a certified consultant does. And I've got to show my team how to do that, right? How to do that, why it's important, and focus on the things that are going to get you paid and make you money, right? And it's so important. Again, we'll get into it later on, but especially when new people are joining, they need to get paid right away, right? Because they're joining, and if month after month after month goes by and they're like, I'm not seeing the results that I wanted to, they start spiraling in their head. This wasn't meant for me. I don't know if I can do this. Those bad, negative, I can't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't thoughts, right? And that's because they're not focused on income producing activities, right? You need to focus on it. It's the answer is income producing activities. Whether you have all the time and all the day, or you have 10 minutes of the day, income producing activities. Okay. And if you don't know what the income producing activities are, Ashley just talked about them. It's the 6 selling points. All right. And if you don't know what those are in detail, which I think every single one of you went to Party with a Purpose, then you've got to go and look up the information, right? Because we know that you guys were there. We can't go over it again and waste your time because we don't want this to be like everything else. There's been a million trainings on this already, and there are on YouTube, on the workstation, but we're here to take off all the sugar off of everything and give you what you need to hear and help you because we love you, right? And we want you guys to build and learn and grow. And it starts with you leading from the front by example. Income producing activities.
I have one more point to what you were talking about. People need, I kind of said this a little bit before, like the majority of your team is going to be, it's like the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of your team is pretty much going to be like not really doing much. And then the 20% of your team is going to be like strong leaders. More often than not, those strong leaders are self-starters. They're people who are automatically come into this and know what to do. It's like all of a sudden they were just like, nobody told them anything, where they just come in and they're like, oh yeah, I looked up a YouTube training. Like I've checked in so many times with people. I'd be like, hey girl, how's your launch party things coming along? Let's talk about some ideas. Let's talk about some booking games. Oh no, I already got the booking game. I'm doing the purse game. Like, and you're like, wow, that's awesome. Like those are how you establish, and we're going to talk all about, building and identifying leaders, but like, that's how those, like people like that who are self-starters, those are the types of people that you want to really dig into. But the fact of the matter is the majority of your team, and especially the larger you grow, they're going to be people who need inspiration and sort of need their hand held in a weird way. Not that you're holding anybody's hand, but they need, like for us, leaders, self-starters, most of you on here, like it's probably nothing to you to be able to just go look up a YouTube training or whatever, just to get the answer for yourself right away. But not everybody's like this. So they need inspiration to pull from. So you need to be that person to kind of be teaching them that. Because not everybody's going to know to go to YouTube. Not everybody's going to know to even Google. Some people are like, when do we get paid? And I'm like, you're getting paid. We've been getting paid for the past 6-7 months on the 10th of the month, and you don't even know when we get paid. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, some people just, everybody learns different. So they need somebody to pull that inspiration from. But you have to be inspired. And they say that leaders inspire when they're inspired. So you have to be an inspiration by being inspired yourself. Follow other leaders, other people in Scentsy who you find are successful, and you want to, mirror what they do or model what they do. Even if they're not in Scentsy, but they're in some other direct sales company. I can't even tell you guys, there's a 31 consultant, believe it or not, and I'm Scentsy ride or die. A 31 consultant who I think is a freaking boss when it comes to marketing her business. I've learned so much stuff from her just because I looked her up on YouTube and I just like watch her videos and stuff. Has nothing to do with Scentsy. Find people who you see successful and follow what they do and watch them. See how they post on social media and maybe start posting that way. Or, this is obviously off of social media, but you have to be inspired. You have to be inspired yourself so that you can then inspire someone else, because once you're inspired, the passion starts and the fire gets going, and then you're unstoppable. So you have to make sure you are inspired somewhere, which is why, again, it all comes back to leading from the front. Are you booking parties? Are you having recruiting conversations? Are you following successful people? Are you reading direct selling books? Are you going on Pinterest at night when your kids are sleeping in the bed and looking up how to get organized in your direct sales business? Guilty pleasure. But like, for real, like whatever it is, you have to be inspired somehow. Okay. Be present in your business, invest in trainings, I know that this sounds so dumb, but I have to just put this out there. Participate on the team page. Participate on the team page because your team is looking at you. Whether it is your own team page or is your director's team page, they are watching you, okay? And I know it sounds so superficial and first world problems, but it really, like, your team sees that. And so if you're not interacting, you cannot ever expect them to start interacting, especially when they transition to your page when you hit director, or even if you have a page now. So anyway, leaders inspire when they're inspired. And, that's pretty much all I have to say. So
I want to say one more thing. I typed it to Colleen because I didn't want to squirrel her, when she was talking. But I think it's super important that you guys know, and you may even know to some extent now because you have a leader above you. But many people look to their leader as you being the person basically that determines their success. Because initially they chose you because they believe in you. So by leading from the front and by doing income producing activities, by working your business, by training yourself, by training others, you're giving them belief. Okay? So it's super important that if you are finding yourself, maybe I could do better at XYZ as far as my business goes. Think about that. Think about what you're doing on a daily basis, because a lot of times I think we take for granted how it's affecting other people looking in. Okay? Homework? You're muted.
first week, can we get thumbs up or thumbs down? Is this good? Good content? Yes? Okay, awesome. So we're going to close this out. And as we told you guys, we're going to have, we hate to call it homework, so we're calling it challenges, but it's homework, okay?
Really homework.
But it's going to be beneficial to you. And it's only because we know that if you do these things, you know, consistently, and obviously not just this week, like it has to be a continued thing, these are going to be things that are going to help you, okay? So this week, your homework challenge, I'm going to call it a homework challenge. Since we talked about creating, since we talked about income producing activities and creating a, follow-up system, whatever that is, if you don't have a follow-up system, I highly suggest you put a follow-up system into place. Okay, so I know I briefly touched on here. If you want to go look up a training on the Boss Babe Basics, or even on YouTube, I think Megan Merlin, if you go on YouTube, she's the original one who came up with the follow-up system, and she has so many videos on all different systems for her business. She just recently came out with like a sample and thank you binder. It's like amazing. She has so many awesome systems. So I would just start right there. Look up her video on YouTube. She's the one who created the system, and it's awesome. Okay, if you don't have this already. Huh?
What's the name?
Megan
Merlin. Yeah, it's Megan. I think it's Merlin is her last name. Okay. So yeah, regardless if it's a binder or if it's a digital system, like I said, whatever it is, create that system if you do not have it already. Okay, that's like your homework for this week, and to have it by next week. And we're going to be putting up like a homework post where you can post pictures of like your follow-up binder that that you can share. So you can also pull inspiration. You can get like mini binders for cheap at Target, or even on Amazon, super cheap, with like little dividers and things like that. It's really inexpensive. So, create that system if you don't have that already. If you do have it, this will also apply to you too, because after you create this system, we want you to share it with your team. We want you to maybe be brave and go live. That would probably be best. You could do it on your director's page, or if you have your own team page, you can do it there. But sometimes we say, especially when you have smaller team pages, that you may not get that interaction that you've been feeling on your director's page, just because it's not there yet. So this is what we're going to help you create. You want to create it so that your team looks to you for guidance. And when they look to you for guidance, you'll start to see that interaction on your team page through creating that culture, which is a whole nother topic on a whole nother week that we're going to be discussing, okay? So create your system, or if you have the system already, you're already one step ahead, it's great. But post your system and then go live with your system on your team page or your director's page, okay? I mean, you could post a picture and be like, hey guys, this is my system, but I think it'd be so much easier for you to just do a video. This program here is to pull you guys out of your comfort zones and make you do hard things. So I'm telling you, probably going live is going to be the best for you to do that, okay? So we'll
tell them and talk about what it is.
Yeah.
Think about the people that just joined your team.
Right.
Have no idea, which we'll get into on another week.
Yeah, we keep like talking about the things and we're like, yeah, but we're going to talk about that later.
We already have everything planned out to a T.
Yeah.
But guys, this should be part of like, they should know about this.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Like,
so this is why we're going to talk about this now. So this is part of your like training process. This is part of like what, you know what, this is income producing activities. So when you talk about this for your homework challenge, then you got to talk about it. Like tell them what this is and why they should be doing this and what they're looking to get out of this, because what you're doing, or if you're already doing it, why it works, and you know why you're going to do this, because there has
if you're not doing it, how you wish you had had this system in place like 6 months ago. Your life would have been so much easier.
Exactly.
And total disclaimer, systems don't work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Systems. But let's just define the word system. Like your system, if you were like Colleen and had Post-it notes and stuff stuck everywhere, like that was her system.
But it didn't work.
But it didn't work.
Right. That's the thing. It has to be a system.
Is like anything that you're doing that works.
Right.
Okay. Just because it's in the binder that's all huge,
Yes.
make it a system. So whatever you're doing that works.
I know somebody who uses just their reminder on their phone for everything, or their notes. Like they keep their potential recruits in the notes section on their phone. Like that, whatever works for you, you know, that's fine. So whatever your system is, it doesn't even have to be a binder that you're sharing with your team. But like I said, we highly suggest this because it's awesome and it's
I haven't met a soul that doesn't work for.
Yeah. And one thing about this, really give it like a good month or two, like before you really start seeing the results. And I mean, consistent every single day, following up on your orders tab, checking in with it. Be consistent, give it a good month or two, and you'll more than likely see a positive increase in your business. Okay. So anyway, we're going to let you guys go. We literally are up on our time right now. So we want to thank you guys so much for being on here. We are so excited for this. Ashley and Colleen and I have been planning this for some time now. And we have been so excited to this. We haven't even really announced this to everybody because we want it to be so intimate for you guys. And we want you to know, not that it's like a huge secret, but like we just want you to know how invested we are into you and to helping you grow, because we know that you want that out of this business. And so we are going to do our best to, you know, help you achieve whatever it is that you are looking to do. So, I'm done now. I'm rambling.
Until next week.
Until next week.
Oh, next week. Okay, so next week we're talking about maximizing your income. Okay?
No money, honey.
Yes. It's going to be exciting. So look out for the homework post that on the page. And yeah, we're excited. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies.
Week 1.